The irony of being live today is that most of the time it's all pre-written or pre-rehearsed. But however, in the old days, Rachmaninoff would improvise with no preparation and do this live or on demand.
And welcome everybody to another week and another webinar here at Bridge Technologies live studio in Oslo. This week, Simen, we're going to be talking about our VBC.
Yes, indeed we are.
Yeah, and I just had a couple of things that I wanted to read out about the VBC, just quickly. VBC includes configuration management, stream performance comparison, worst performer identification, drill down analysis, stream and service status monitoring.
Holy moly.
Micro timeline, Visio maps imports, trend graphing up to 2 years, alarm logging, SLA report generation, built-in maps. I'll stop there because
thank you very much, Tim. It's too much. That's very, very true. Now, the VBC is quite a comprehensive system, and since we are now in the midst of summer, we're doing this as a summer special, just to give the people out there a taste of all these intricacies that can be performed with the VBC. And we have our fantastic Ståle with us that can actually demonstrate this, and that is fantastic. So the key thing here is that you log into the VBC, basically you can have as many users as you like, and you can go straight to the live page where it shows every single active alarms. This is active alarms, so this is exactly what's harmful in the system, or let's say notifications that you need to do. Then you can go to more traditional type of monitoring, which makes a bit more sense because here you have all the different sites. Let's say you have a production site, you have your master control room, you have your OTT distribution, you have your terrestrial streams, you have basically everything. And then you have individual statuses per site, and then of course all the variety of notifications that follows all the different sites. This is a very, very useful overview, and of course you can drill down straight to any individual site or probe from this place if you like. So the live and drilled further down into the exact probe, basically. This is a blade that is actually could be standing on a mountaintop analyzing all sorts of data, and here you can access it just like that. So that's the power of the monitoring, basically. And the next in line is the ability to see the blade alarms. And the blade alarms is another extremely powerful feature that enables you to tap every single notification that has been done in the probe for the last 4 days, and actually be able also to filter, to sort, to do a lot of very, very heavy data processing on tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of alarms. And that enables you to find that needle in a haystack, if you want, when you're actually searching for a correlation between what's happening and actually how to find the fault. So that's another very, very powerful feature on the VBC, because it can actually take all this data from hundreds of probes into the central database. And next in line is the extremely powerful graphics view. And the graphics view, you mentioned this, Tim, because basically you said that this is something you can then import your Visio files and then make the user interface your own. Right. This is the kind of the example for that. So back to Ståle, and the key thing here is that basically Ståle can show us exactly what he's talking about. This is a VCO example that he imported, and you can then use this as a graphical user interface. You can also drill down. You can use it at point and click and go deeper into the matter. And you can then design this GUI exactly how you want it, with your elements, and tag active descriptors from the VBC, so that you will see the immediate status of the different types of equipment. And this is, just some of the examples of this absolutely wonderful VBC system. I think that, Tim, what do you think? Shall we actually jump straight to reporting now?
We could do that. I think that's
because reporting is, an extremely important fact of a monitoring system, because you really want to come out with that beautiful, even printed paper sometime,
exactly.
Or export that PDF document to the management saying that, well, it wasn't my fault, or it was my fault, or something like that. So Ståle,
it's peace of mind as well.
That's very, very true. So Ståle, basically you have then the reports, that you have a long list. You can auto-generate these reports, or you can generate them manually. If you auto-generate it, you can say that, okay, every Tuesday at 3 o'clock I want to report on how this thing is working, and I want to send to my email address. You can do that as well, of course. That is perfectly possible. But let's have an example of one of those fantastic reports that is generated by the system. It's a system performance report that actually goes to from and to the time that you specify. And here you have the blunt overview of what's happening on your system overall, but also you can go down into each individual service and each individual probe location and see exactly how this conforms towards your SLAs. So it's a pretty powerful tool, and that is, quite amazing. And of course we have a different layer as well, which is just under there, which is the extended reports. And the extended reports enables you to go in a bit more engineering angle, not so much the SLA angle. So what do you think, Tim? It's pretty cool.
It is very, very cool. And basically on the ISM line, if you go through the whole process, production, contribution, distribution, and then get right to the end, and then you can print out a nice report after all of that, basically saying that everything's good, then that's a great tool to have.
Absolutely.
Simen, we have a theme that we have been introducing, and of course VBC is a central management system. And I guess we probably should ask or explain to people, why is this important?
Well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but I think another part of it is equally important, and that is the simplicity of it. Because you can purchase a probe and install a probe, even the Nomad, the very, very portable small Nomad. And then you can add the VBC controller on top of it and expand your system tenfold, because then suddenly you can store your data indefinitely as long as you have disk space. And also you can get the reporting, you can get all the individual GUI capability, and of course alarming. This is pretty significant, and that enables you to utilize your system even more. And of course, for professionals running huge networks, this is extremely important.
And all IP based.
No, very true.
IP address. No,
all accessible via web browser, of course, where you are.
Yes. No, that's brilliant. So I guess that's a brief cap on what VBC is.
We'll be back with a more in-depth look, and we're closing into summer now.
Exactly.
Actually, I think we're in the middle of summer.
We are in the middle of summer.
And it's after summer comes basically IBC.
Yes.
And we have a lot of nice things to show you in the IBC timeframe.
Yep. So we'll be back with you again for another webinar next week. But from the Oslo studio, from Simen, from Ståle, who helped us out on demoing again, we're going to say goodbye and thank you for this week.